So this is Aaron Roh with fungi. A fungi is more like mushrooms, but much smaller than that, like a yeast, and they also form symbiotic relationship like between a fungi and algae. And so not only do they break down and decompose material, but they also going to work symbiotically with both algae and the plants to allow them to function better. And also fungi shares more recent common ancestry with animals, not plants. Next, when you look at the phylogeny, you can look at their monophyletic groups, which means that these things all share common ancestry and they are in one group. And so there are 5 of these: Chytridiomycota, Zygomycota, Glomeromycota, Ascomycota, and Basidiomycota. There are eukaryotic, so they got a nucleate and organelles. And also there are heterotrophs, so you can see why it almost looks like a plant. And they don't move, they don't run like animals, and they also have roots like plants. And so we used to classify them as plants, but they are not plants. And also they eat material and they are going to digest material. Also they have cell walls which are made up of polysaccharide called chitin, which the exoskeleton of insects are made from that similar structure. And most of the inside is going to be filamentous, which is made up of filaments. And so this would be the filaments in a mushroom, but they're not going to have any true tissues like muscle tissue or nervous tissues. It is just a group of hyphae. So when you look at this picture, you can see the hyphae just packed together really tightly. And when you look at the roots, you can see the hyphae absorbing the nutrients. And you can find the example of fungi everywhere, like a fruit breaking down by a mold which is a fast-growing fungi. And also when you see athlete's foot, they are infected by a fungus as well. This right here is a fungus growing in between the toes, and it is a hyphae, actually grows into the tissues of the person's foot, and it secretes the enzyme, then it digests the material inside it, and that's why it's really painful. And next is Anthrobotrys. So what they do is, you can see the hyphae growing here, but they will make the little rings, and then you have a worm like this called a nematode worm. Basically, if the nematode worm starts to swim through this ring, it will cinch on the nematode worm and it's going to digest it from the outside in. Next is the 5 phylas. First one is Ascomycota. Asco means cups, so ascus means cup fungi, and it is important because penicillin is a fungus or an Ascomycota that is going to make a lot of the antibiotics that we have. Next is Basidiomycota. Basidio comes from the word basidium, which means club. And these are going to be the mushrooms that we think of when we actually think of fungi. Next is Chytridiomycota. These are referred to as chytrids. These are used to classify it as protists because they have a flagellated stage where they will actually swim around. And these are famous because massive amount of frogs died due to the infection of chytrid fungi. Next is Glomeromycota, which forms a symbiotic relationship with plants. So this is the root of a plant fungi growing inside it. So this fungi helps plants to increase surface area, and it allows them to take more water, and the plants gave fungi a place to live. Last one is Zygomycota. Its name comes from the zygosporangia, which is going to be this resistant structure where the spores are actually formed. When you leave the bread out, one of the spores is going to land on it and are going to get the growth of this fungus. And this fungus is eating off the bread.
Sometimes humans accidentally eat poisonous mushrooms. For example, many species from genus Amanita resemble edible mushrooms. However, they contain extremely dangerous toxins that can quickly destroy a person's liver. Poisonous mushrooms cause varying symptoms when eaten, including upset stomach, vomiting, or diarrhea. Some species can cause death. Other fungal toxins include aflatoxins, poisons produced by some species of Aspergillus. Aflatoxin can cause liver cancer. Fungi that make aflatoxin can contaminate corn, peanuts, cottonseed, and tree nuts.